Welcome to my channel. Wow, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually saying it. My name's Muira. If you have never seen, well, you would have never seen me before, but this is my channel where I'll be doing some book reviews, maybe some makeup reviews. See how it goes, child. We'll just see how it goes, okay? But today I thought, why not review the 7 laws of spiritual success? The 7 spiritual laws of success. Woo, I almost forgot the title. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so as you know, we're going to be reviewing this book. It's called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. It's written by Deepak Chopra. He is an author. His genre is basically wellness, spirituality. When I did some Googles, child, his description was alternative medicine, which I was just like, okay, I'm here for this. I'm here for this. And I thought, what better way to review this book than going chapter by chapter? So we have law number 1, which is the law of potentiality. Woo! This law, yeah, let me tell you, this law sets you up for the book, for the foundation of when you want to build on things, because this law is basically telling you can do all things. To have that chapter at the beginning of the book, expressing possibilities, endless possibilities. He also talks about self-power, ego power, and the kind of difference between the two, whereas self-power is the power within and ego power is power based on the distractions around us. It's based on it's like things that are motivating us that are not about us really. It's based on things that we're influenced by. Now, I'm not saying that even the core of us isn't influenced. We're all influenced, yeah. The fact that I got a lace front, I'm influenced. The fact that like we be using iPhones, there's a trend that influences us, right? But I feel like when you really know yourself and you know your being, you know what it is you're meant to do on this earth, even though that's a chapter, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if you know yourself and you know your true power, you know that there are endless possibilities for you. You look at life in a different perspective. So when you're looking at self-power, you're looking at it from within rather than from, okay, what's this person doing? What's this influencer doing? What's this, you know, to create the power for yourself or to motivate yourself can work, but I feel like it's much more useful for you to kind of use what's within you already and to build on that. One thing I really love about this book is it has actions at the end of each chapter, and it's so easy for you. It's very easy to kind of get on with the actions as well. They're not like very difficult actions. One of them was like meditation, like I said before, silence, living in silence, and I guess that blocks out noise, distractions, because he spoke a little bit about noise, distractions, and how triggers can create moments in life where you're living based off of triggers rather than based off of truth, your truth. And yeah, so I mean, if you want to know more, you gotta read the book, okay? You gotta read the book, okay? Law number 2 is the law of giving. Yeah. Now, this one, I love the law of giving because, I mean, who doesn't? I think even if you feel like you're not somebody who likes to give, you kind of do. We all do. I think it's, personally, I feel like it's within our own nature. We want to give. And he speaks about like the world being an exchange. Actually, I thought like, so at the beginning of each chapter, right, he gives you like a little bit of like I guess a blurb, a kind of like context of what the chapter is going to be about. I've never in my life seen giving in this way, like described in this way. So I'll read it to you. I'll let you know, describe what I'm talking about. You can see that. And it's just like, it's a very, very small description of like, and it kind of sets you up to what you're about to read.
The universe operates through dynamic exchange. Giving and receiving are different aspects of the flow of energy in the universe. And in our willingness to give that which we seek, we keep the abundance of the universe circulating in our lives.
So I was just like, okay. He's talking about how giving is almost like a format of life. Like you don't, when you stop giving, it's almost like you're stopping the circulation of life. And I never thought about it like that. I was just like, that's so true. And we can't even help but not give. We always give carbon dioxide every single day, right? But it's like, we don't even realize that that's what we're doing. And even when you come into a room, for instance, the energy that you bring, that you're giving off something, you know? So it's kind of like being intentional around what you're giving, the energy you're giving, the love you're giving. It talks about like different ways of giving, like you can give attention, you can give like love. It doesn't have to be a physical gift. Hell, when somebody is giving from the heart as well, you can tell. Anyways, that chapter, I liked it, I enjoyed it, and it also had, you know, actions at the end of it as well, which were really good. So yeah, moving on, we'll move on to chapter 3, which was the law of karma. Woo! The law of karma, guys. I am not going to lie to you. The law of karma caught me by surprise. I was not expecting karma to be in a book like this. Like, I mean, when you read like wellness books, self-development books, I guess there is karma there, but you don't really hear it like just up front, like giving it real. I believe in karma, like what you reap is what you sow. That's what it basically, the chapter was alluding to and spoke about. He said something that was so real. He spoke about like where you are in your life right now is based off of what you have sown in the past. And it made me think, wow. It is a wow. Because, you know, you'd be making like plans and you'd be thinking,
this is what I want to do in my future. This is where I want to be.
And you look back at your life sometimes, well, I'm saying you, I'm talking for me. When I be looking back at my life sometimes, I'm like, I haven't accomplished what I said I wanted to accomplish. And if I'm being real with myself, it's based on the fact that I'm not putting in the work that I need to put in to accomplish that outcome. Even it was one of those ones that it was like, I'm going to give you the real. I'm going to tell you the real. Especially if we're talking about success now. Success. You got to put in the work sometimes, you know? And it's really like, okay, even though I'm getting ahead of myself, it's really about like, what is your purpose? And are you putting in the work for your purpose, yeah? Even though he talks about purpose further down, it really does make sense.
Okay, moving on.
The law of least effort. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I know I said that sometimes I'm lazy when it comes to reaping and sowing and stuff, but I put in effort. I've heard of this before, this concept of least effort before, but I was just like,
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Especially if you come from an African household, the law of least effort isn't something that we get behind, okay? It's the law of most efforts. Least effort is not, you know, a thing. But in this chapter, he really spoke about just trusting that things are working out the way they're supposed to be working out as well. And I guess it is balanced because the law of least effort came after the law of karma, which was cause and effect and reaping what you sow. Also being intentional and kind of creating without forcing things to happen. And I guess that's a balance almost that you have to have, because I always want a specific outcome. And sometimes it's like things are not going to work out in the way that you think they're going to work out, but they're still working out, you know, things are still being created, even if they're not being created in the way that you think they should be created. When you create with your intention, you're creating it through a loving place and a loving standpoint, which I loved it. I was just like, yes, okay. And then we moved on to chapter 5, which it kind of led into intention and desire, which makes sense, you know. I feel like each chapter was building to the next thing, and intention and desire was about, you know, being intentional, but also knowing what is your desires. So now this one, I was like, okay, for me, I've not always known my desire. I don't know what it is that I'm put on earth to do. That is a lot of people. Some people out here, they know what they want to do. They know what God has put them on the earth to do, to be, and they pursue it, right? And other people like me, we're kind of like, is it this? When I was younger, I'm not gonna lie to you, I used to think it was design, fashion design, that was my thing. And then I got to a point where I was like, this might not be my thing, you know? But it's like certain people, it's like some people, like for me, for instance, you might have one thing, you're going through that journey, and then you're like, it might not be that. And you sometimes become fearful of letting go of that, because you're like, I spent so long, so much effort on this one thing. I didn't allow myself to kind of really explore so many different things. And that's why I always say to myself, if and when I have children, I'm going to let them explore so many different aspects, different things, so that they can see, you know, like Reggie Yates was saying this in Mo Gilligan. Whoa, okay. Mo Gilligan podcast. He was talking about how his mum put him in different things when he was younger.
At like 8 years old, my mum tried me at different things. So she sent me to junior gunners. I was crap at football. I didn't make it. I didn't want to do scouts because I hated the way that they dressed. Like I didn't want to wear them shorts and the neckerchief. I wasn't into none of that. And then a friend told her about this drama club called Anna Sher in Islington.
Okay.
To see, you know, what is it that he wants to do. And I think that's something that, you know, sometimes it's lack of resources, but it's something that I feel like in the educational system should be put in place. We should have the experience of exploring, if somebody wants to do flying, or if somebody wants to do wants to be a creative and wants to do acting, or if they want to do editing, or if they want to do, you know, there's so many different things. And I think that happens a lot in private schools. They get to explore different things a bit more, but in public schools it's kind of like we don't even get taught really much about business, you know. There should be a lot more in the curriculum. Anyway, I am trailing away from what the focus was, but yeah, intention and desire. He was really talking about like, what is it you want to do, and kind of finding out, what have I been put on this earth to do? How am I going to operate in that intentionally with my purpose? And for me, it was kind of like, yeah, that's true. Like I need to really figure out more, what is the journey of what I am here to do, as well as how intentional I am at doing that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this chapter, even though I was a bit like,
oh, I don't know my purpose. Let me just see.
so that in itself is kind of figuring out the journey of that, which he spoke about mostly in the last chapter. But before we get to that, we had chapter 6, the chapter of detachment. This one, it was kind of a build on the chapter of least effort a little bit, and he really spoke about like not holding on to something and an outcome. And this is my worst one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I said before with least effort, I want things to happen the way it's like I envision it, right?
You know, like how you have mood boards, you start to envision what your life should be like. I envision it, and so when I'm looking at it and it's not looking the same and it's not making sense, I'm like,
What's this whole thing right now? What's this whole thing right now?
Why doesn't it look how I envisioned it to look? So I go back and I'm trying to catch up to an envisionment, whereas I'm not allowing myself to actually appreciate what it is that has, you know, been created. And that in itself is, I flip and flop with that, because yes, you should aim to create what you want to create, but at the same time you should also appreciate what you are creating in the moment, but also trusting that things are working out for you. Things are always working out for you. Things are always working out in the way they're supposed to be working out. And he also spoke about, if you want to know something, it's like wanting to know the outcome. But once you already know the outcome, you're in the past. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it is. Once you know something, it's kind of in the past. Like once you know the process of how the process is going to turn out, it's in the past. You're not in the process anymore. You're not in the manifestation or the creating moment of it. So it was like, oh my gosh, you're searching for something that's in the past. And when you're always constantly thinking about the knowing, you're almost not allowing yourself to be present in the moment and also hopeful for the future. Yeah, I like the idea of just doing the process and putting it out there and moving on. And then the last chapter was the chapter of Dharma. He spoke about something which was so sweet to me. He spoke about the upbringing of his children, right? And he spoke about, like, it was very privileged, but it was very nice that he gave his children that choice. And it was very, because I don't know, when this book came out, it's
been out for a while. It doesn't have the date, of course. It wouldn't have the date on it. Yeah, it wouldn't have the date. But
I know this book's been out for a while, but the way he spoke about how he parents, it was just so lovely to me. Like he was talking about how he basically told his children that he wants them to search for their purpose and not to worry about education. And to me, I was just like, you told them what? Because that doesn't happen in African households, Asian households. I don't think even in white households they be saying don't worry about education. Education is key in most households. And I thought, like, for him to say, like, don't worry about education, and obviously he's privileged enough to set, even if they didn't do anything with their life, he's privileged enough to set them up for life. That's why I said it was a bit privileged in that sense. But he said that I want you to really focus on what is it that I'm supposed to be here for in life. And I think when you have that kind of upbringing, I guess, it makes you think about life, the focus of life in a different way. It's not about getting a career, making a certain amount of money, being stable. It's more about, I guess, purpose driven, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But it's more purpose driven you're intentional around what it is or who I am, you know, whether who I am is fulfilling for the world, you know. That was another thing he spoke to them about. He's like, I want you to figure out what is it that my purpose, and how does my purpose serve the world, you know. And I was just like, that's just so beautiful. I feel like having that balance of like allowing a child to know their purpose in this world is something that we should kind of encourage in our day-to-day. And also not just a child, an adult. I mean, I was reading this book thinking, I don't know about my purpose as well, so I need to be searching too. And yeah, like I just loved it. It made me think, 2021, I'm building on my purpose. I'm building on what it is I'm supposed to do in this world, who I'm supposed to be, and see where that takes me, you know. If you've read this book, let me know how you thought it went. That is the last law, the law of Dharma, living your purpose. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed and hope to see you soon. Bye. And you become emotionally attached. My mind was just going and going, like, what's going to happen next to her? What's she going to do? How's she going to get out of this?